And here in the top right position of Crossfire is our purple Terran player. When there's too much matter in a star.
SuperNova.
Isn't that when a supernova happens?
Supernova happens when you have a ton of matter and the star kind of collapses in on itself, and the star just doesn't have enough energy to really like keep the matter from just going. Like basically, it's reacting
and here's our mixed martial arts player.
You always do that in Ultra. You ask me a question on the player, and I'm like, I gotta tell you all this stuff, and then we have to do another intro.
Hey, I caught it this time though. At least this time I didn't like let myself get distracted by your response like I do half the time. By the way, thanks again to LG Cinema 3D, Intel, and G-Skill. You guys are flippin' amazing. Thank you so very, very much.
They are.
For giving us what we need to run this tournament. G-Skill buying our boots, our battle boots, which are crucial.
They're so awesome.
Absolutely crucial to running a StarCraft tournament. Without the boots, man, players can like hear what's going on. It's that happens sometimes. The boots were not soundproofed enough. And by the way, gas first for SuperNova. Very interesting. We're gonna find out what happens with that in a bit. And did MMA go? No, MMA did not go gas first.
Nope.
But yeah, like early on in Star 1, there were times when like Boxer like heard the crowd like cheering or like, you know, like saying stuff when he was about to walk over someone's stop lurkers, and he would like hear that and like run back because he thought something was going on. And like, I mean, I'm not blaming Boxer, I'm like saying he was cheating, but you know, if you hear like the crowd going like, "Oh my God, he's gonna run over the," you know,
yeah,
you don't want to run over that.
Soundproof boosts are very important. To put it bluntly, they're very important.
To sum up my ramblings for the last 3 minutes, yes.
So thanks to G-Skill.
Are definitely important.
And now an SCV of MMA comes in here and says, "Oh, you went gas first? Hey, that's what my team likes to do. What are you doing our builds?"
Pulling a Ganji.
Pulling a Ganji.
Well, I guess both players did that.
MMA actually going to do some SCV harass in TBT. You don't see it very often.
Not very good.
Only when your opponent goes gas first can you do something like this.
Yeah. And SCV is going to get chased out. Marine is now running across the map for MMA. Might be thinking about putting some pressure on. I don't think it's quite going to do anything. The distance of running across the map is too great. But oh, he's just going to take the tower. Never mind. And we will find out soon what is going to happen when that factory finishes for SuperNova. Could be anything.
It could be anything.
I'm hoping for battlecruisers.
You keep
I really want battlecruisers, man.
You can't like rush the battlecruisers, man.
You can. Okay, not actually, but
it's just like I knew you were gonna say it too. It's like I'm hoping for. Is he gonna say Blue Flame? Is he gonna say Banshees? And you're just like battlecruisers. I'm like, why did I know you were gonna say that?
I just love battlecruisers.
You know, if everyone went battlecruisers all the time, though, no one would love them because it'd be just like, oh, we went BCs again. Everybody does that.
I would still love them. My love is unconditional for battlecruisers.
Is that so?
Yeah. So it looks like MMA might be going for Banshees since he's got a factory and a tech lab on his. I'm sorry, Starport and a tech lab, and that SCV just never stood a chance.
Pre-Igniter Hellions. That's what it's gonna be.
All right. I'm a fan of those two, though. Fan of those two, but I do have conditional love for Pre-Igniter Hellions.
You only love them if they do damage.
I only love them if they do damage. Yep.
That's how everyone feels about Pre-Igniter Hellions. I know there's some people out there and they're like,
if the Hellion comes, go ahead. Sorry.
There's some people out there like they like Hellions a lot because the Hellion does a little facepalm animation and stuff with his portrait. They're like, I love Hellions, even if they don't do damage. This is a nice Hellion. I'd like him. No, we disagree.
For me, if that Hellion comes home from work and reports, "Oh, sorry, honey, I didn't do any damage today. I only got 2 SCV kills," you're sleeping on the couch.
No, you're just like, you might as well have died.
You should have stayed there and died.
Why did they save you in the medevac?
Why did you even come back?
Exactly. Now, there are a few Hellions out on the map. SCV is trying to sneak by, but is spotted by that Hellion.
And the Blue Flame is almost done, but he doesn't show Blue Flame, actually, because that Hellion did kill the SCV first. Has he seen those SCVs, I mean, sorry, the Hellions running around, or just the one?
He just saw the one, so he has no idea that there are a few others about to join in, but he does have a wall up and a bunker, so it's going to be very difficult to really do damage with these Hellions. But MMA does have a Banshee coming out. The Banshee could even maybe chase down some of these Hellions if he reacts properly. And oh no! Hellion's going to go home to an angry mole trap.
Should have stayed and died on that bunker. Cloak is almost finished as well, and it's going to finish about the same time that that Banshee arrives at
SuperNova's base.
SuperNova's base, sorry.
Now, SuperNova already has his command center up, so that's one plus that he's got really going for him, even though his Hellions do damage. No engineering bay quite yet. It's just now finishing up. So Banshee can do tons of damage, especially because these Marines do not have stim. There are no Vikings out. Okay, I take it back. One Viking does pop out.
There are no Vikings out other than the one. But he needs to scan. I don't know if he has any scans saved up right now. He's taking out a lot of Marines here, actually.
Oh, he doesn't have any scans. Just now gets that scan. Everything I say turns to dust. Banshee does escape.
Don't say that, then it'll die. No, it does escape. It gets out, and the second Banshee's going to come in here. Cloaks. Does he have another scan? I don't think he does.
Just barely had enough for one more scan.
I had to join in on the wrong statements there. But that Banshee escapes, though. It gets out of scan range pretty quickly because there's not enough Marines to do enough instant damage.
Right.
I mean, normally if you scan and you get like a shot off with 8 Marines, then the Viking can clean up. But with only 3, you can't. And that turret is never going to go up at this rate. So
Banshee does escape as well.
Oh, is it going to, though? It's almost out of energy. Where's the Viking at? Oh, the Viking went the wrong way.
Adolescent Viking not about pursuing the Banshees. Seen a lot of that today.
SuperNova loading up some Blue Flame Heli. Ah, he does catch it after all.
Everything I say.
But if we say that everything we say is wrong,
then we'll be.
And that's wrong.
What does that mean?
What happens then? It's a paradox. So a Blue Flame drop is going to be happening in MMA's base momentarily, and he unfortunately moves his orbital just out of position. He could have scouted it, I guess, if it was over on the left there. Maybe not, though. Here comes the drop. He's moving it in from off on the side. Is he going to react in time? He actually sees it coming. SCV's getting pulled instantly. Are they going to get killed, though?
So many SCVs. Nice splitting. He did the stop split trick. You can tell by how his SCV is split. He's going to lose a lot of Marines, though. No, nice. Not as many as I thought.
Whoa. That was close. He's actually still picking him off with this last Hellion.
All those SCVs getting a little bit burnt, but they're okay. It's like in Star Wars.
Man, I was hoping that...
Just gonna make a Star Wars joke. Let's try to make a Star Wars joke.
I'm sorry. Make the Star Wars joke.
I was just gonna say it's like
make John the Translator happy.
It's like when Luke gets shot and he's like, I'm a little cooked, but I'm okay. In episode 4, you know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking about?
Some of those SCVs are damaged already.
Yeah, they're a little cooked, and they're about to not be okay.
Oh no!
Oh, he lines them up.
Oh, MMA again, not doing the best split. I mean, he did a good split before, but again, as in the first game. Second game, whatever that was, loses a lot of SCVs, doing some Banshee harass at the same time, though.
Yeah, the Banshee was...
This game is nuts.
Banshee was doing some serious damage to that refinery. Didn't really kill that many SCVs, but she does have 12 total, so she has been doing some work. She was just taking a break, killing that refinery.
Man, if that Hellion had made it home alive, I would have made it dinner.
You would have?
Yeah.
All right. Me too.
I would have been in love with that Hellion.
I don't know if I would go that far. The Hellion seems like a nice guy, but... He seems like a nice guy only because he kills so many SCVs. That's how I judge character. I meet somebody like, how many SCVs have you killed in your career? It's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, oh, I don't even know what you... I don't even know if I want to talk to you anymore.
What are you talking about?
All right, so a little engagement here. MMA at the top of the ramp. Doesn't have siege mode quite yet, though, so he can't quite capitalize on that.
He needs to do some damage, though. Well, he's not that far behind, but he's a little behind.
He might be after he loses a lot of these SCVs.
Oh, no. Oh, running his SCVs, they line up, and he does split them pretty well again, but not well enough. Oh, that is just brutal to watch, man.
Yeah,
that one Marauder finally took him out, but not after doing a lot of damage.
Yeah, MMA is 13 SCVs behind. Does have a pretty good army, but he's just a little bit behind in general. Oh! Saw that call down supply. Whenever someone calls down supply on TV, I just want to make fun of him. I'm like, I saw you. I saw you do that.
Maybe.
The entire world saw you call down supply. You got supply blocked, man.
Maybe it was a very specialized build where he worked in call down supply.
Yeah, right at like 80 supply. It's going to call it down right at that moment.
Yeah.
All right, so.
Not really.
MMA is trying to take the center of the map, splitting his forces up just a little bit. Similarly to how we saw Ganji do it, but it's so difficult to do on this map. And oh, that drop narrowly escaped Viking detection. And it's full of Hellions.
Here. Could do even more damage. Man, SuperNova's being absolutely relentless with these drops. And here he comes in for another drop. A good pull by MMA, but he unfortunately lines up his SCVs again. He's like pseudo-splitting. He's like splitting them once, but then not actually like splitting them.
Yeah, I was about to say good split, and he just left them all together.
Oh no!
That was a decent split, but he's still losing so many because there's just nothing to deal with the Hellions.
Wow.
Does save the Hellion as well in that dropship.
Unless he just lets the medevac die with the Hellion inside. Oh.
Oh.
Everything does die, but not at the same moment. At least it died like on ground. I wouldn't want to die like in a medevac, like trapped in the medevac.
Don't talk about things like that, Moltrap. You're on the plane tomorrow.
Oh crap. Oh. Oh no.
These aren't the things you want to think about right now. A little bit of damage done by MMA. Having the Zone Watchtower is so important on this map because if your opponent tries to take that path, he ends up taking some siege tank fire. He doesn't know if he has siege tanks there. And Banshee doing some good damage.
SuperNova experiencing part of what it's like to not have a lot of Marines. Losing some stuff to the Banshee. He does have the Vikings though, so he's okay. And oh, it's Stim coming in here with these Marauders, trying to take out those Hellions. Tank siege up a little bit late though, and no damage done to MMA's army other than what he did himself through that Stim. Does have some medevacs though, and there's that Banshee again. Is he going to be able to scan and take it out? And that was kind of a fail at repairing that tank. And here comes trying to take out the tanks while they're unseized again, and does take everything out. MMA taking a huge supply lead, and again macroing up pretty well, trying to catch up an SCV count.
Yeah, he's just been doing such a good job with the right army composition, just getting those Marauders out, controlling the map with a few siege tanks. Banshee's picking off units where she can.
I think you're the only person that says she instead of it when you're talking about Banshees.
That's because it's a girl, man. Gotta be respectful. Well, if I called you it, would you be happy? I don't think so.
No, but I'm not a unit in StarCraft. Not yet. Tastosis, they got their own units in StarCraft, but anyway.
I can't wait till those find their way into a ladder map.
That'd be sweet.
All right. Well, right now, SuperNova, he had a huge lead from killing all those SCVs, but suddenly he's now only 7 SCVs ahead. He lost his entire army.
Yeah, MMA's really been keeping that macro up, and I mean, MMA, it's SuperNova, it's not like he got like enough SCVs for full saturation and stopped. He could even probably use a few more SCVs and make a little bit more money off of his 2 bases. He got 47.
He is trying to take that 3rd base, but it is spotted by the Hellions. In fact, he turns it around because he doesn't want to get it sniped. Unfortunately, though, for MMA, he just doesn't really have that many Marines.
To kind of go back on what I just said, I guess he's almost mined out in his main, so actually he's not really able to make complete use of all of more SCVs, so never mind. But yeah, both players, again, not really expanding too much. Keep it on 2 bases. A little bit of a standoff in the middle there.
Yeah, it's always hard to approach that Zelnaga Watchtower.
And because this is Moltrap and his wrong day, SuperNova's floating that command center over there trying to take a 3rd. Well, he looked like he was thinking about it.
Well, he thought about it and he got a little bit nervous because it was spotted. He wanted to make sure it was safe. Now he's just kind of guarding it. And, you know, the 3rd base of MMA, he just finished his command center, he's going to move it. And again, MMA is going to have his command center up a little bit faster than SuperNova. And we saw how that went last game. And this game could turn out to be pretty similar. If he gets that 3rd base up faster, just macros, he's already, you know, somewhat ahead in the army.
Yeah. Now, here's the thing as well, is MMA has a better composition right now because he's got a lot of Marauders, he's got some medevacs,
yeah.
And he has a few Vikings. He's actually got the Viking disadvantage, but Marauders and tanks are going to beat Marines and tanks.
That's true.
And Hellions and tanks.
Another thing to note is that MMA, hold that thought because here's some Hellions.
And that Hellion
drop there, but here comes some more Hellions.
Uh-oh, and let's see what MMA's going to do about it this time. He needs to split better. Marauder in the main supply line is actually going to, and you know what, to be honest, letting those SCVs mine was the best way to avoid fire from those Hellions.
That's very true. Now, MMA has the center of the map under his control, which was I was going to mention before the Hellion happened. He's got that Zelnaga Watchtower. He's basically got 2/3 of the map. He's got that under his control. It's basically like a no walk zone, no fly zone. It's very difficult for SuperNova to move through that area.
Base is under.
In fact, those siege tanks are unsieged.
Oh. He thought about taking advantage of that, but he was just a little bit too far out. If he hit siege mode a little bit later, he could have charged in there and killed all those tanks. It would have been brutal.
SuperNova has a lot of Vikings out as well, and none of those actually proven to be very useful in this case, because his opponent has a Zelnaga Watchtower, so, I mean, he's going to have more vision than you no matter what. Nothing you can do about it unless you clear that out.
Yeah, it's like a little tower. It's like if you were like walking down the street and you saw this tower and you like stood next to it, and all of a sudden you can see all kinds of stuff. Hold that thought. Drop coming in the top for MMA. I was going to say it'd be like if you suddenly gained the powers of the Hyuga clan in Naruto. They could like see all directions, see through stuff.
Yeah, it's like wearing binoculars or like having the eyes of an eagle or something when you walk on top of that tower, man. Here comes a little drop. He's going to target down that Tech Lab, which is huge because that'll decrease the tanks that SuperNova can make. He may even get a second Tech Lab if he targets it. He's not targeting it.
Hellions coming in here, and again, even though they don't get the damage bonus that they get from the Blue Flames, they can still do damage if you have more Hellions available.
Yeah, because Marauders don't do bonus damage to Hellions either. It's like it's fair.
Scan going off. He spots that planetary in the top left and decides not to engage with all his Marauders because if a mass repair went down, he might just lose all his Marauders. So it's a smart move, and he's just going to take his own third. Well, he's got his own third already, but MMA might want to think about taking a fourth right now, actually.
Yeah, he's in such a good spot with his siege tanks that it's almost unreasonable for him to not, and in fact, takes the gold base.
Taking the gold.
Very, very smart move. And, you know, SuperNova, he's in a tough spot. He's got a pretty good tank count. In fact, he's got 19 tanks to the 11 tanks of MMA, but MMA knows this is not the map to try to go heavy tank, because if you have just a few tanks and you control the center of the map, it doesn't matter if your opponent has twice as many tanks as you, he's not getting through the center of the map.
Yeah, MMA is playing the style of trying to be more mobile, and kind of like we saw MVP do and then try to do in his games, where he would be trying to just be more mobile and pick off small parts of SuperNova's army. Now, the thing is on this map, it's going to be hard to corner parts of SuperNova's army, though. So it's not going to be as effective. There's a lot of Vikings out for MMA.
Those Vikings cleaned out the barracks, but the barracks unfortunately was able to spot that gold base.
Probably, I'll bet he's going to try and blue flame it. I'll betcha.
You betcha?
Betcha. He's been doing really, really consistent blue flame Hellion drops this entire series.
That's true.
So I wouldn't be surprised if he tried to do that. Uh-oh. SuperNova coming in for a little bit of attack and trading blows with some tanks there, coming out ahead.
He just doesn't have anything to buffer for those tanks. He's got 9 Hellions and 19 tanks. And then some Vikings. Like, you can't break your opponent's tank line if you don't have anything to absorb the shots.
He could maybe, well, I was going to say he could bring SCVs, but SuperNova has made 2 SCVs total in the past, like, 6 minutes.
That's true.
So he's not trying to get extra SCVs for something like that.
He's just trying to win a positional battle in a place where you just can't win a positional battle with your siege tanks. Yeah. You're not going to be like, oh, I have more Vikings than you, I'm just going to win this battle. You just can't do that on this map. The architecture does not lend itself to that.
Yeah, because MMA has that beautiful spot at the tower in the middle where he can see with his tanks over to the right of where we're seeing now. He can see the tanks trying to go down the right side. And
and here comes some Marauders.
There's those Marauders.
Now MMA finds the weak spot. He knows there aren't really any tanks over here. He's going to take out so many units here. In fact, he's going to get the Thor as well. And some of these depots, even one of the depots that has a call-down supply on top of it, it's worth 2 depots.
2 for 1 deal. Oh my god, these Marauders doing so much damage. Killing out a ton of tanks, killing the Thor, taking out depots, and taking a huge supply lead for MMA. And he hasn't lost any position at all. He can remake those Marauders. And there, I mean, yeah. Using the fact that SuperNova was out of position now, SuperNova is about to get +3 tank weapons, though.
Yeah, those tanks are about to get really scary, whereas MMA has no upgrades for his tanks. A little bit of a Viking advantage here for MMA, taking that fight really convincingly.
Oh, he has no upgrades for his tanks?
Nope, none whatsoever.
Oh my goodness.
And I don't think he really planned on getting that many tanks. Oh no, Vikings running into a missile turret. I don't think he really planned on it because he's just like, you're never really going to be able to engage my tanks cost efficiently, so why should I even spend upgrades on them? And I think he really expected SuperNova to stop making tanks, to be perfectly honest with you.
So MMA, though, by the way, does have a decisive Viking advantage now, as long as he doesn't throw them away on turrets. He killed some of the Vikings of SuperNova that were out of position, and so he definitely has every advantage right now. And SuperNova, out of the blue, out of the purple, decides that he actually just realizes that there's no way he can come back to this.
It was like checkmate.
Yeah, he's like, oh, MMA has the gold base. He's getting another base up, I believe. Or he should have been at the very least. And there's nothing I can do about this.
Yeah.
I'm just going to leave the game. So a little bit disappointing ending there.
It was literally like checkmate. It's like, you know, I just can't move any of my pieces. Yeah. I just can't move them. What am I going to do?
Exactly.
So nice victory there. Slayer's sending now 2 players for the round of 32. Or rather, to the round of 16 from the round of 32.
I think that was a good analogy. It was checkmate. It was like he still had a bunch of pieces on the map, but he just realized like, oh, there's just nowhere I can move. I can't move.
He doesn't have as many tanks as me, but I just can't move my tanks forward. He's got a better economy.
Yeah.
I have no buffer units for my tanks. Crossfire is a map where siege tanks reign supreme if you control with them. And in the other matchups, that's why you see siege tanks all the time on that map, is because if you have siege tanks on those areas, it's hard to get units up to engage them because they're always, you know, all those little crevices and stuff.
And MMA had like all the high ground.
Yeah, so in TVT, if you control the high ground, if you control the middle of the map and the Zelnaga watchtowers, you just can't break through. You just can't do it. And if you're just trying to be like, oh, well, I have a better economy, I'm going to make more siege tanks than you. If you can't ever use those siege tanks, what good is it? Should have done some drops maybe with the siege tanks. He did some great pre-igniter Hellion drops. Maybe trying to do a massive drop like Boxer style, like bring a ton of siege tanks in and like take out the production facilities may have been a better choice.
But with the Vikings around, that would have been risky too.
That's true. Was the Vikings did get out a little out of control there.
You know what he should have done?
What's that?
You know what he should have done.
Battle cruisers?
That's what he should have done. That would have been the way back into the game.
Well, battle cruisers, if you have the air advantage, is a pretty good transition
when they were
to make.
even on Vikings, BC's actually, like, not even a joke, would have been a pretty good move. But he lost all the Vikings anyway. We're going to see an interview here with our winner, Slayers MMA.
네, 기분이 굉장히 좋으실 것 같아요. 현재 소감 부탁드리겠습니다.
일단
How do you feel about today's match?
이길지 몰랐는데 다 졌다고 생각했는데 이겨가지고 너무 기쁩니다.
네, 고전을 많이 한 것 같아요. 상당히 힘든 경기가 나왔는데 좀 체력적으로 힘들진 않았습니까?
체력적으로 힘든 건 없었고요.
네.
연습 때는
did it take a lot of endurance for this match?
대회 때는 이상하게 잘 못 막네요.
그랬군요. 자, 그리고 김동주 선수가 앞서 이제 먼저 올라가게 됐어요.
네.
그리고 이제 했던 말이 밥이다. 뭐 이런 식으로 얘기를 했었는데 김동주 선수에게 한마디 부탁드리겠습니다.
제가 밥이라고요?
예.
내부 돌면은 제가 10판 하면 10판 다
I
이기거든요.
missed his response to the endurance thing, but he's now asking about what he thinks about his teammate. Gon was saying he would take him out in the round of
16강에서
16.
밝혀질 것입니다.
오, 같은 팀의 팀킬을 한번 기대해 보도록 하겠습니다. 자, 그리고 마지막으로 지금 응원하시는 분들이 굉장히 많아요.
He will meet that
팬분들 위해서 한마디 부탁드립니다.
Yeah, he's gonna take him on.
응원해 주시는 팬분들 너무 감사드리고요.
네.
그리고 또 내일 바로
In practice, when they do 10 rounds, he wins all 10 against Ganji. So
네, 앞으로의 선전을
he's pretty
기대하겠습니다.
confident.
축하드립니다.
감사합니다.
네, 이상 문성원 선수를 만나 봤습니다.
He says, "Thank you for the interview." That's funny. Normally you hear like, "Oh yeah, when we practice, like I win 7 out of 10." He's like, "No, I win 10. I win 10 out of 10."
It's funny when they were giving us the translations there. I thought you said he was going to take him out to dinner. I was like, oh, he's going to take you out to dinner, what? And then you were like,
I'm going to take him out.
Yeah, you just take out. He's like, no, your teammate said he's going to take you out because they were talking. They're building off the energy of, oh, you're really excited that you won. He's like, what do you think about your teammate saying he was going to take you out? I was like, what's he going to say? That sounds pretty nice.
A good time.
Yeah, I thought he was going to be like, I was like, well, that sounds pretty nice.
I'll make him pay for dessert, but I'll pay for dinner.
Our producer is in our headset. He's laughing so hard right now. All right.
Oh, man. That is only half the matches for today, man.
It's been really long. In fact, the studio kind of cleared out a little bit because it's been so long. People had to go maybe get something to eat, take a break.
Run on down to pizza school and grab a bite to eat. We're going to take a 2-minute break so I can have a snack. We'll be back in 2 minutes for some more epic StarCraft. Don't go away. There's more where that came from.